Right. So this is the big picture about MonsoonSIM, right? So let me just repeat this. I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with this. This is our approach, is for you as a facilitator to configure MonsoonSIM to various business scenario and case and business environment, and allow your students to learn through experiential learning. Okay, so that's it I want to talk about for MonsoonSIM, so that you can follow along our presentation today. Okay, we have a decade of development. From 2012 until now, we have gone through version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And here are what we have done. 2012, we started with a very small typical business. And then from the bottom up, 2013-14, we have put in the entire full-scale ERP and also scoring metrics. In 2014 and then 15, 16, 17, version 4 and 5 were released. And we had the full-scale ERP plus service management. And also we introduced the concept of target KPIs for your measurement. Then 2018, we have added robots, okay, to help you teach and to help the learners learn. And it's also opened up MonsoonSIM to becoming a full-blown gamification and simulation platform. So prior to version 6, we are a gamification system, a platform, teaching platform. But since version 6, because of the robots, then you can use the robot to do the simulation, and then you can teach using simulation. So it becomes both simulation and gamification platform. Then version 7, we have added the data analytics and also the e-commerce. And then last year, 2020, we have added ELO rating, export-import, the crisis, the clubs, and we are working in collaboration with Deakin University to come up with the R&D for the intangible asset specifications based on the IFRS accounting system. So that was the roadmap, and which brings me to today's topic, version 9. Okay, so for version 9, there are 3 major components, upgrades that we like to share today. The first being the course and dynamic quiz. Each official course comes with its own quiz. We have a number of official courses in the system, and each of them has its own set of quizzes. Then the facilitator can monitor the quiz participation in real time, yes? So you as a facilitator, when you run the quiz, you can control, you can see what's going on and who has answered those questions. And the facilitator can also control the timing, including starting, stopping. You can also select the questions based on what you think is relevant to the students, based on that particular sessions that you were conducting. You can select them and run them. You can also hide and show the result. You can show the learner's name, which is quite nice because some university you may want to protect. It's a bit sensitive to have the learner's name associated with the quiz results. So you can just use the learner's ID, or alternatively, you can also show the name. You can also hide and show the correct answer. Then you can also get the average team score and the individual score based on the quiz. You can also save the quiz results. So for each session, you can have a number of quizzes. Okay, so maybe on day 20, you want to run a quiz, and then on day 50, you want to stop the game and run another quiz, and you can save those quiz results, and you can do an average or whatever. It's up to you to do with what you want to do with the quiz results. For the learner, each of them has to answer them individually. Some of the questions are related to the game in real time based on the real-time data. So some of the question requires the learner to explore the business data to be able to answer. So it's nothing to prepare, there's nothing to memorize. It's always changing. It's, every time you stop the game and you run the quiz, the answers change. Okay? So that is the quiz. Allow me to do a live demo. Here's a course that I have run in version 9. I have started with just a baseline configuration. It's Australian baseline, as you can see. If I go to my course, there's a star here telling me that I'm in Australian baseline. Fine. Now, I like to run an official course. So here are my official courses. We have ERP 101, 102, 103, 104, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are all step-by-step evolving, okay? And more difficult in terms of the function and the features and the departments involved. Okay, plus we have other courses such as accounting with accrual, we have Asia financial crisis, we have retail business with loan, etc., etc. We will continue to produce these courses so you can use them. Now, bear in mind that when you load this course, it doesn't mean that you have to stick with the configuration. You can still change it, okay? So it's very dynamic. So you can just use the Asian financial crisis and then further modify it and then save it to your own course. You can do that very easily, yeah? Okay, so now I'm going to show you course and quiz. I'm going to select one of the courses. So I'm going to select, say, ERP 106. Okay, so I find this course interesting. Of course, I can do the about this course and go through all the theory behind this course, such as, you know, this is where we are, ERP 106, you know, what are the modules involved and what are the process so you can explain to your student, etc., etc. Okay, these are some of the things that, so these are the course content that you can deliver. So it's all available for you. Now, I don't want to do that. All I want is to run this course. So I'm going to load this course, yeah? So I say that I'm going to keep the attribute. So I don't want to include the attribute. I want to keep Australia as my location. So I don't want to include this. So I'm going to keep the Australia. And then here are the changes. And I will type a yes to confirm my loading. And there you go. So I have loaded my course 106. Okay, so then I can run this course. Now, of course, you have to go through your team setup and etc., which I have done prior to this. Okay, I've set up 2 human teams and 3 robot teams. Right, so I have loaded 106. Now, because I want to focus on my speech on the quiz, so I'm just going to go straight to the quiz. So here you will see 2 new menus for you. This menu is about the facilitator option, about the environment. Okay, so this is the team and structure, this is the courses, and these are the environment. The environment of the game, such as what? Such as whether you allow chat or not, whether you allow multiple language or not, whether you allow the students to have their own guide, whether you allow boss or not, this is the virtual teaching assistant, whether you allow them to see their scoring metrics, what is the logo, and whether you allow them to see the configuration. This, we call it game environment, okay? Which is different from the following. These are all the game parameters, okay? So the game parameters, they are different from the game environment. So that's why we separate the game environment from the game parameters here. So these are the environment. This, we have changed it, used to be called more menu. So we call it observe and score. Okay, so you click observe and score. In version 9, you will see the following. This is your old KPI. This is what you've already seen in version 8, such as your KPI and so on. So I'm not going to talk about that. I just want to focus on score by quiz. So there is a new score now. Okay, remember, so you have score by metric, score by target, now we have score by quiz. So this quiz is now associated with ERP 106. I click this, is a quiz for ERP 106. ERP Business Concept 1. So here are the number of questions that we have created for you. Some of these questions requires you to answer based on the choices, such as this. The choices are A, B, C, D. You have to select one of them. Some of the questions are related to your real-time data, such as, what is your current gross profit margin? So to answer this question, the student has to go into their data analytics, go to their, profit and loss report and so on, and find them and answer them. Okay, so it's different. Every time you stop the game, it is different. And here is the point. For this question is 1 point, this question is 1 point, this question is 1 point, and the more difficult question will have more points, for example. Okay, and we'll continue to add more questions, by the way. So you can select this. Let's say I would like to select 3 of these questions, or I simply would like to select all the questions. Let's say I want to select these three questions, and I select these questions. That's it, 3 questions. And then I want to run the quiz, start the quiz. Okay, so the quiz is starting. So the default is using the student ID. This is team human, team robot, and team human. So these are the learners. Learner 1, learner 2. So if there's a number of learners, you see the number of learners, okay? Right now, it happens to be only 1 learner. So this is the point that the learner is getting. Right now, it is running. So as the learner, you will have a new menu called quiz. You can't do anything right now. You cannot do any purchases, etc., because the quiz is running. You can only answer this quiz. These are the 3 questions that you have selected. So I am Team Human and MonsoonSIM. So let me just answer a few questions. How many times your vendor late in delivering your items? So I have to go check the PO and find out how many times that my vendor has been late, etc. So now suppose I found that it is 0. Trading profit is defined as, so what is from a financial report, what is your trading profit so far? I think it is 0, which is the correct answer. But let's suppose I put 1 million, 100,000, which is obviously a wrong answer. Okay. According to the basic accounting theory, your asset should be a liability, blah, 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 and then you have to select the questions, the answer. Suppose I put these 3 answers. Now, as a teacher, as you see, I can see who has answered. So basically, this person has answered these 3 questions. The rest are still thinking. When I see that all the checkboxes are here, then I can stop the quiz. And that's it. So the student screen no longer is in the quiz mode. Now I can see the result if I want to. You see this option? So I can say, okay, show me the result, show me the point. And that's it. Okay, so I get 1 point here, being correct. And my trading profit was wrong, it should be 0. Okay, and this, I got 1 point. I happen to have guessed the right answer. Okay, so what other options that I have? I can hide the point if I like to, as I said earlier. Then you can say, I want to display the learner's name instead of the learner's ID. Then you see the name, MonsoonSIM, John Bot, DoSIM. Okay, so here's the name. Or I can say, okay, I like to see the correct answer. Show correct answer. As you can see, the correct answer is here. For every team is different, yeah? Because this is a real-time data. So the correct answer should be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and this happens to be 0, so he got 1 point. Okay, so that's the correct answer. Just such as this, okay? So the ABCD, the correct answer is B. So MonsoonSIM got 1 point. All right? So I have the team total and team average. So if I have 2 persons, they all got it right, then I got 1, I got the average point. So it'll help you to make your scoring, judging. Okay, so that is quiz. And then you can, of course, save the results. You can save your results, say, okay, this is quiz 1 result. So if you want to come back to see what is the result, you can see here, human 1 got 2 points out of the 3. So his score is 67. Okay, because the total point allowed is 3. So, and this person got 2 points. So therefore the score is 67 points. So that is the quiz. Okay, now coming back to this, score by quiz, I can always reset this and rerun this if I like to. Okay, so now I'm having the second quiz and then followed by saving the session. Then I can compare. Second topic. The second thing that we are launching is the manual journal entry for accounting students. Manual journal entry for accounting students. What can the facilitator do? First of all, you can allow or disallow manual journal posting. Obviously, it has to be like that, right? Because you may not want to talk about accounting at all. You may just want to talk about ERP. You may just want to talk about business, economy, entrepreneurship, etc., etc. You may not want to touch this, but if you like, if you have accounting basic, accounting 101, accounting student, you can turn it on. You can control the number of manual bar journal to be posted. So you can say, okay, for this course, for this session, I would like to give you, I'd like to challenge you with 10 journals or 20 journals or 30 journals for this particular game so that you have to post. Okay, so you can control. I mean, we don't, you can start with small, you can say with 5 only. So let the student be familiar and then you can add more as you go later. Third thing you can control is you can observe the real time, the journal posting performance, whether it is correct. So it comes down to a performance problem. So the posting problem, if the problem is high, that means the student create a lot of problem, such as late, such as wrong posting. If it is low, it is very good. So you can also whether to disqualify teams with journal problem in the scoring metrics. Okay, so let's say you run a game in a competition and you want to play manual journal posting. Then you have to tell them in advance, hey guys, for this particular game competition, we are going to disqualify teams with journal problems. So this will really make them be very careful in answering those questions, the posting. Because assuming that if they have a problem, that their audit report will be a qualified one. So it's not going to reflect the real situation of the company. So you're not going to allow them to be in a competition. So it's up to you. What can the learner do? The learner has 1 day to post the journal before being considered late. So let's say it's being asked you need to post by day 6. You got day 7 to do that. But if you miss day 7, you go to day 8, then you will start to becoming a late posting. And I'm sure a lot of people will have late posting because it's quite normal. Depends on how strict do you want to be. And it depends on how many seconds per day you allow them. Okay. Has to wait 1 day to know if the posting is correct or not. So after they post, they don't get the answer immediately. It has to wait 1 day. And that is good because there's consequence of, wrong posting. Okay, we like the student to experience the consequence of wrong posting because it creates a lot of problem, right? We have to reverse this and that. So they have to have 1 day to know if the posting is correct or not. Now, you can also control that the learner can post when the game is stopped. So this is good. So you can run the game and then you stop the game and let the student post it. And then you continue. All right, they may get some late point, but at least they get all of them get posted. Okay, they learn it. Okay, all this is optional. Yeah, you can control that. General posting problem point. 1 problem point for late posting per day per post. So let's say you have 1 posting, let's say salary, you want to post, you forgot to post, then it's 1 problem point per day. And 3 problem point if you post it incorrectly. Okay, so what should be in debit, you put it in credit, then you accumulate 3 problem points. And the new KPI is that the low is good. So you try not to have any problem points. Yeah. Okay. So that is journal entry. Now I'm going to show you the live demo. Same game. I'm going to start. So now I'm going to turn on manual posting. You see this under finance, there's a journal entry allow. Right now is no. And the submenu is that general posting maximum, how many? 10. So let's put 20. Okay. So for this particular session, there will be maximum 20 per team. Yeah. And now I'm going to turn it on. Yes. Okay. So now if I run this game, then you will see that some of the transactions will be put under transaction list, which you have to attend to. System will decide which day to give them the posting challenge. And it's not up to the teacher. There you go. Okay, so as a human, I got this general posting, right? So you see this number, 1 means there's 1 posting needed to be attended to. So what should I do? There's a T table. Alex, what should this be? Salary expense.
Your expense account.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
What about here?
Bank. Cash on hand.
Right. So this is what you post. So you have 1 day to, the system will tell you whether you got it correct or not, right? So you can see the next day it's done, completed. Okay. So now there are 2 more that you need to post. Suppose I post it wrongly. Suppose I do it the other way around, right? So this is cash on hand. This is salary. Then again, I need to wait 1 day to be told whether I got it correct or not. It's wrong. So I need to repost this. Okay. So now I'm starting to collect problems here because of the wrong posting. So if you look at my KPI, let me select my report in general posting. There you go. So this is where I got the wrong posting and then all the late posting. Okay. So this is no good, right? I need to avoid this. So if I post it now, if I got it correct this time, then it will go away and mark as completed. Done. And it's not only salary and cash. It's, it started with something simple like this. But when you have a lot of other things like the procurement and so on and overflow things, because each set of the debit and credit only come out 3 times maximum. Okay, so it's good for practice. So let's say salary with cash is 1. So it comes up 3 times. After that, it will change to something else, such as overflow, such as the loan, such as whatever. Okay, so this is general posting. And you can easily find those here. Okay. Again, me being human, I haven't done any transactions. So all I got is the salary expense. But if I had bought my location, if I got all my location, then I have all sorts of transaction coming. Salary, rental, purchasing, AP, AR, etc. Okay. So that is the manual general posting. The third one is virtual teaching assistant, the next generation boss 2.0. It comes up as a pop-up guides. Okay. It comes with the pop-up guides. Sometimes it has, sometimes it doesn't, depending on the situation. The facilitator can set the boss mode. There are 3 modes. One is you can ask the boss to help you as a facilitator only. So you don't need the boss to tell the student what to do. Just tell you. So, you can learn actually. You can see what the boss is saying, and then you can reflect back the messages to the student if you like. Or alternatively, you can say, I want both. I would like the boss to assist me as a facilitator as well as the learners. But learner can also put the boss to sleep if they want to. Right? So it's very flexible. So if the learner find that, I know all the advice, I don't need the boss, then put him to sleep. Okay. Thirdly is nothing at all. So you don't have to set anything. Now, what can the learner do? The learner can put the boss to sleep, as I mentioned earlier, can also scroll through multiple advices. So sometimes the advice comes in a lot of advice. Let's say your company is running into trouble. Let's say you have a problem with cash, there is a problem with facility, you have a problem with delivery. Then you get multiple alerts, so to speak. So then you can scroll through them one by one, right? So the learner can really go through way to solve their problem. Okay, and the boss advice, it comes based on the learner's real-time business health. So the boss will be able to analyze the game for the team and see what is the problem at that moment, okay, and give them the proper advice. And also give you, the facilitator, the same advice. Okay, we'll show you in a moment. And then the advice also based on the market conditions. Okay, so what's the situation in the market, and then it will give you the advice, and also the timing. Okay, so let's say, when the game is starting, maybe the boss is a little bit easier, don't want to give you too many advices. Maybe the beginning will show you some of the tour guide and guide you along navigation. And then, for the beginners, they'll give you a very stern advice and certain thing that you need to follow through. But then when you become expert in a later time, then the advice becomes more for like a FYI situation, because you need to take control of your game. The advice comes in different severity. Okay, then you have a very serious problem. For example, you are out of cash, then it's always serious. So the priority system, such as the delinquent payment. So like, for example, you run a game in the past, and sometimes team doesn't really understand the first time, second time, and then they run into bankrupt and so on. Now you can avoid that now, right? You can ask the boss to give them proper advice. Avoid things like out of cash, delinquent payments, journal problems. Okay. At the same time, the virtual teaching assistant also gives the advice to you as a facilitator, as I mentioned earlier. And it is multi-language option. I think for Indonesian or for some countries, I think that is very useful. Okay. Both the facilitator and learner can have their own language. So maybe one learner is looking at in Korean, the other learner is looking at in Thai. But it's also optionally decided by the facilitator. So in some countries, they want to turn off multi-language option. So there is no multi-language for anyone. So it's all English. Okay, so I'm going to show you the virtual teaching assistant live demo. And now I'm going to turn on the boss. Remember, this is a game environment. So this is a setting here. I'm going to allow the boss. Remember, I mentioned earlier, you have 3 modes, right? Yes means for both facilitator and learner. But yes, for facilitator only, that means you are, for you only. So now I'm going to make it for both facilitator and the learner. All right, so let's run this game and see what the boss can do for us. So when I do that, then you see the boss will come up here and say, okay, your name, address you, and then a boss, take you some basic navigation. So you see this red thing, you can always click and it will take you guide you step by step. All right, and anytime you can get rid of it. And again, as I mentioned earlier, there are multiple advices. So you can scroll through this. Okay, so there are chat. Don't forget there's chat here. Okay. Sometimes the boss will ask you to click. So if you click, then you get further advice and so on. So anytime you want to get rid of it, just click, close it. All right. And then you have environment and so on and so on. Now, when you're done with this, you can scroll back and say, okay, come again. I missed some of the advice, so you can do that again. All right. So this is the advice. And sometimes it comes with a little white eye here that's a concept that you can click. So let me just run this game. So suppose I run this for the first time. Notice what happened? The message changed. Your team has no retail store up. the store yet, please set one up immediately. And there's an eye here, which I can further see what's going on. Okay, so there is an advice here that I need to do this thing. All right, but by the way, all this is multi-language also, yeah? So you say, show me how to get my first retail store. You click this, and it will guide you step by step until you click one of this and it goes away. So I'm going to follow this instruction and suppose I approve. If I do not approve now, then the question comes is, buy inventory to sell in your retail store. Again, I have multiple advice. The second advice, you have not sold anything. Your total sales is 0. Show me. Your team has no retail store. Show me how to set one up. Okay, I'm going to set up my retail store. Okay, there you go. Right? I have multiple advice here. What's my total sales is 0, it says. So show me. This is my total sales. Okay, so I need to buy something, yeah? I can also consider renting a warehouse, and I need to buy. Show me how to buy stuff into my retail store. So I'm going to buy some stuff into my retail store. And there you go. So if I just keep an eye on the boss message, I should be able to get proper guidance until I get my sales. Once I get the sales, then the message will switch to some other messages. Now, at the same time, as a teacher, you have this boss alert. This is what you can see here. Team by team. Day by day. So every day, the message will be different. And you can actually give your students the advice based on these important messages. For example, Team Human 1 does not have a warehouse yet, right? So again, nobody's playing here. It's only robot and human is not doing anything. So the message, if there's a real life game, then the message could be a number of things, such as they are running out of cash, there may be an overflow, there may be a space utilization problem, etc., etc. So the teacher can just sit here and look at these messages and get a feel of how the teams are doing. Okay? So that's the boss. Now, if you turn this earlier, if you say that the boss will only appear for the teacher, as I said earlier, let's suppose you change this to facilitator only, then the student will not have any help. Okay, will not get any help. But you as a teacher, you can still get the boss alert here. I'll go to the last one, which is the others. Here are some of the smaller improvements we have made. We have added slider for service bid and B2B bid. Okay, so this is the example. So when you're bidding, now you can use a slider. Of course, you can also use manual. Okay, so is for service and also for B2B bidding. So that's just a small improvement here. And then we also have added the formula for space utilization, the new formula. In the past, prior to this, if you have 100 meters of space, okay, and then you underuse it, you get 50 points. But if you overuse it, you still get 100 points. Now it's no longer, right? In version 9, if you overuse your space, you will also get a diminishing point. So that means 100 is the maximum. So you get over, then you get lower. So it become 80, 40, you can even go to minus. So basically your space utilization, you really need to be careful, not just underuse, but not only underuse, but also overuse. Okay, then we have microchart that has a stack bar indicating how many units remaining, such as this. Okay, unit remaining, there is a utilize, let's say allocated, and then you have a special search in your microchart. Slightly improved chart to show you some of the stock that are being allocated, because they don't show it on your KPI box, but it's being allocated. Okay, and then marketing will only be effective upon payment. Okay, prior to this, marketing will be effective in the morning, but in the afternoon, if you don't pay, that morning marketing has been, you can enjoy the marketing in the morning, but now no longer. You have to pay first before you can enjoy the marketing effect. Okay, then learners will see the seconds counter, just like as I show you here. This is the seconds counter. Okay. And then you have a one-click upgrade for your version 8 to version 9. So let's suppose you have a version 8. So I'm going to stop this game. Let's suppose you have a configuration saved in version 8. So your configuration all goes here, my course. So let's suppose I have a configuration in version 8. Now this is version 9. Then I have a button upgrade. Just click. And if you want to be sure, you can always save it into a new configuration, load it and save as a new configuration first, just to be sure. But you can upgrade it. And now this is, you can start using it. You can load this course. Okay, it's now version 9. So it's one-click upgrade for your configuration. There is a event, experiential learning from Atmajaya. So you're welcome to sign up. I'm going to post the link here. Okay, so you can, if you like to join this webinar, please do. Okay, otherwise, then you can always contact us at info@monsoonsim.com if you have any question at all. Yeah. All right. Thank you then. That's it from me. Signing off. See you next time.